Hello everyone and a warm welcome back. And welcome to the last building block. Now we are going to have an AI reality check, and who could that do better than you, Christian? You already did the Industrie 4.0 reality check and translating this into AI reality check. Really looking forward for the afternoon. And first, you're going to start in as well together with John and giving an insight on how actually this digital transformation can be scaled from within, putting the human in the center of this transformation, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Gerrit, thank you so much. Thanks for the energy that you brought to that conference till now. Yes, so it was 6 hours of straight moderation, so thanks for that already. Now I'm happy to take over the last block. So Gerrit, thanks again. And yeah, welcome to the afternoon session, and a special welcome to John. Hello John, welcome on screen. It's a great pleasure that you join us at CDO Aachen. You're live from Philly now, yes, so it's early, probably not early morning, but at least it's in the morning for you. So a warm welcome. Probably let me share a bit of light into what we are going to do now. So one thing that we worked on basically through the whole year when preparing that conference is that we wanted to provide a broad overview of what's going on across different sectors in the industry. And in this session, we'll discuss impressions from chemical companies, automotive suppliers, pharmaceutical companies, tooling machine builders, and so on and so forth. So I get that will be a very engaging session, and it circles around the question how to scale AI. What is it that needs to happen in the organization now? We'll talk about technology, but we'll also talk about the people's part, and how to get your organization and especially your people's ready for that. And with that said, I'm really happy that John is here. So John, you are with Kuraray, a Japanese chemicals company. You've been with that company for quite a while now. Yeah, you've been the operations manager for several plants across Europe. You've been with that company when it was still called DuPont, before it was acquired by Kuraray. And in your current role, you are the global digital transformation leader. And in that capacity, we worked on a global learning program together. And I'm really happy and really excited to share some of the insights together with you now in our talk. Yeah. So
great. Thank you, Christian.
So a great welcome here, and you know that studio quite well. Yes, so you've been to Aachen a couple of times. I would say, without further ado, probably let's step into our talk, and I'd say stage is yours. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Christian, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. So I think if we open up any headline on the newspaper, we're constantly greeted by a new headline warning us about the jobs that AI is going to take away. The media is completely filled with stories about layoffs and automation and the looming threat of machines replacing people. And if we were to just look at all these headlines, if you can go to the next chart, Christian, this is how we would feel, right? We're constantly being bombarded with these headlines, and it's no wonder that we would feel like a sense of anxiety or fear, because that's the conversation. It's all we're hearing about is all this fear of job loss. So what we as digital leaders really need to do is reframe the conversation from the fear of job loss to that of skill development and transformation. It's our job as leaders to make sure that we empower our organizations and our people. So the real story isn't about jobs disappearing. It's about the new roles, the new capabilities, and the possibilities that AI unlocks. Our challenge is to make sure the workforce is ready, that they're adaptable and equipped to thrive. And although it's really easy to fall into that hype, what we should really do is look at the data. And so this is a chart from Gartner, and they did a study at the beginning of this year looking at January through June, and how many job losses were actually attributed to productivity gains from AI. And as you can see in this chart, it's less than 1%. So although we see all this hype about all this dramatic job loss because of AI productivity, the truth is not that. It's other reasons that you can see here for driving some of these job losses, but it's not necessarily related to AI. Now, in one of the other Gartner presentations, there's actually a prediction, and that's this first box here on the left, is they actually predict that in 28 and 29, that AI will actually create more jobs than it will eliminate. Now, having said that, AI is going to dramatically impact every job. So there's going to be what they're calling a skills remix. We really need to change the skills and abilities of our people because AI is going to touch every job. And during one of the presentations, there was this quote by Daryl Plummer, which I've been using it ever since because I think it's fantastic. It says, AI won't take your job, but someone who uses AI better than you will. And I think that sums it up really well in terms of the situation that we're in. We need to teach people how to use AI better. Also this year, early this year, the World Economic Forum released this Future of Jobs report. And it's an excellent report. It's 140 some odd pages. This is just one chart that they used, and I think it's really important. So if you look at the upper right quadrant of this chart, it talks about the core skills that are going to be required in 2030. And if you look at these, it's creative thinking, resilience, curiosity, and lifelong learning. It's all these human skills that are going to be more and more important. Yes, there's AI and big data and things like that in this upper right quadrant, and those are important, but it's that human skill that's going to be more and more important going forward. And what was interesting for us is we didn't have this information when we created this program, but when we looked at the subjects that we were teaching, it overlapped very well with this World Economic Forum report, because these are the types of skills that we were teaching our folks through the fellowship program. Now, the other thing that I think is really important is we already have a whole bunch of people, and we hired those people for a reason. And those people are good at what they do. And so it's our job is to keep them, grow them, and build on their strengths. And that's the idea behind this program, is to, we have good people, let's give them the skills they need to be successful. Because also on the other hand, what we're finding now is to hire the skills that you need and to get the people that fit your culture and have the capabilities is hard. And you can see the data here, it takes well over 3 months to hire somebody to fit a specific role. And in fact, we're finding in ours, in the US and Japan, it's very difficult to get the specific skills that you need in the market. And so it's much easier to teach our own people teach our own people to get the skills that they need to be successful in this new era. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Christian to talk a little bit more about the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. And I can remember quite well when you approached me about 2 years ago and you said, well, we need to ramp up that qualification program, that learning program. We are running a global business across the US, Asia, Europe, and can you help us build something that helps to build digital and AI skills over time? And well, first, we tried to find something on the market that probably fit that need, but we came to the conclusion pretty fast that we said, well, we need to probably come up with an own program. So given the global footprint of Kuraray, we want to build a program that blends into the daily work, that fits across regions, and that helps you also to work with the limited time constraint that you have for example, as a manager in a global company. So, and in the end, we decided for an approach that says, well, we don't want to teach tools only, we want to explain how to lead a project. And our strong belief is that, of course, you can join a training that lasts or that takes 3-4 days. But for me, it's much more than that. It's about a journey. And we wanted to build a program that accompanies people for 5 to 6 months on learning all these new skills, tools, and capabilities. And of course, there's more to that, because leadership has its own view on how such a training would look like. Yeah? So it needs to work across diverse teams. It needs to be adapted to the workforce, and last but not least, it needs to be cost effective. And that's where we said, well, let's come up probably with a new approach that is fun and that is really helping people to build lasting capabilities. And another aspect that was very important to us is that we wanted to give something back to the people. So we don't want to overload them with new information, but for us it was much more important to build the core competencies and help them build curiosity, work towards a shifting mindset. So, and all these things that you see here, so being adaptable, having the right risk appetite, being outcome driven, and all the other things. Yeah, this is what Gartner calls the art of the digital possible, and that is what we wanted to incorporate in our program and what we wanted to teach the Kuraray staff. So, in the end, it's about providing the ability and building the ability to think how to transform with digital. So what is it what we did to stand out in that program? So first of all, we said it's about the individual. It's about building capabilities for them, helping them building their career. And in order to do that, we relate a lot of external input. So you'll see that on a later slide. So we asked a lot of industry leaders, experts to join that program, share their knowledge. It's not only material that helps you in your day-to-day job, but it also helps you to build your career. And that comes with providing a university certification. So our DX Gold class members run through that 5-month training, and afterwards they have the chance to write an exam and get an official certificate from Aachen International Academy, which I think is really a great opportunity. Of course, because of the global footprint, the program was predominantly global and online, but we wanted to build a network, and we asked people to join us for an on-site physical meeting at the end of the training in Aachen. So what you see here is we've been very intentional and choiceful about the program design, what we wanted to build, and how to communicate that. Now, let's look into the different building blocks of this program. So the first building blocks were weekly online live sessions. So every Tuesday, every Thursday, people join us via Zoom and they listen to a lecturer from Aachen University or to an expert. We asked people to run projects in their own work environment. Just so apply what we teach you and use that to drive the digital transformation in your division, in your department forward. We asked people to take part in engaging group meetings, like that event in Aachen I just mentioned. And of course, we asked people to study on their own, because that's in the end what we can tell for sure. You get out of the program what you put into it. So a couple of the fields that we touched here, of course, it's about these things that you would anticipate. So it's about data and high tech. It's about digital communication and collaboration, but it's also about strategy planning, building related knowledge. So a big tool set that helps you to build your capabilities that you might need in your future job. And here's how that studio looks like. So you see my colleague Paula here giving one of the presentations on new work. And while it is a remote training, we try to make it very engaging, very interactive. So people are asked to join us on Slidos. There's a lot of communication, and that really helped us to build a network and a community beyond just the e-learning part. Yeah? And again, as I said, it is online, yes, but being in a position where you meet twice a week for 1.5 to 2 hours online, that really helps you to connect even inside the organization, and that helps you to form a network that will help you today, but it probably will also help you in the next couple of years to come in that organization. And of course, I mean, we talked a little about that outside-in perspective. You see mainly 4 different columns here. So the first column is about the academic world. Of course, it was Aachen University that is involved, but also Monash University is involved, Maastricht University. Then we had companies basically being in the same industry, like Kuraray CO, Teva, Bayer, Henkel. We had also companies from different industries like Johnson & Johnson or Volvo or Schaeffler. And we asked providers, suppliers of technology to join us. So for example, Schwarz Group, Myro, Hype. So all these cool tools to really build a good mix on that. Yeah, and then last but not least, it's about the people, building lasting connections between the people. So I remember quite well this June, the second track has been visiting us in Aachen. We gave a visit to the studio here. We had lots of fun exploring the old town of Aachen. We did trips to Düsseldorf, to the Troisdorf site near Cologne of Kuraray. So it was really a week packed with learning, with networking, with writing exams, to be honest, yeah, but luckily everybody succeeded in that. We could hand over these certificates, and so in the end it was really a lot of fun, and I hope it was really engaging for the people, and I think everybody went home quite lucky with these final exam and this certificate in their pockets. So that's a little bit about how we ran that. John, I'd say let's talk about the results.
Yeah, so here's some statistics about the program. As you can see, as Christian was going through, there was 16 topics that we covered during the course of the training, ranging from creating an IT strategy to teaching them how to use Python and everything in between. It is a remote training, and we had 35 remote meetings. There's many speakers, as Christian said, from academia, from industry, from software companies or providers. So a good diverse range of people presenting the program. We keep track of the number of participants and how much time they're spending in these sessions. And you can see we've got over 200,000 minutes, which equates to, I think, 140 days. So that's a lot of time that people have spent in this program. And we're also trying to improve this program continually. So after each session, we ask all the participants for their feedback. What went well? What did you like? What did you not like? How could we improve? And you can see we've got almost 1,000 feedback responses that we listen to and incorporate into improving the program in the future. And I won't read the quote here from Samantha, but you can see from reading that, it's creating that network, it's giving her exposure to other people, and it's giving her exposure to the tools that we have available to us and how to solve problems, and knowing she's not alone in trying to advance this type of work for her business. And so what are some of the results? And I'm very much a person that likes to make sure that we're measuring outcomes. What are we actually achieving as a result? And so I'll let you read the comic on your own, but we're trying to make sure that we tie the participation in this program to a physical and tangible result of the participant. And so in the first track of the program, there was 25 gold students, and each of them had to complete an individual project. And based on the savings that we're getting, we've identified over 700,000 in savings from programs that these individuals have implemented. We've got over 300 hours of productivity improvements. There was projects that improve our ability to make better decisions because we've now made data more visible. And also there was a lot of manual programs and processes that participants from this program took it upon themselves to fix now that they knew they had access to some of the tools to help fix some of those things. In track 2 of the program, we had 3 projects. One was to evaluate live translation tools. So we're a global company, and we have German, Spanish, Japanese, English participants on many meetings. And so this live translation tool evaluation was critical for us. We had a project to automate and track quality data. And then we also did some work with a customer-facing chatbot. So a lot of good work, very diverse work. And then also, as Christian mentioned, all these participants have now formed a network. And so they are sharing their experiences, they're helping one another, and they're also mentoring new people that are going through this program. And so it's really been a really key success for us in linking that training to actually getting a business outcome. So what did we learn along the way? What we learned was that you need pull and push. So there was a strong desire for management to teach our people, but there was pressure on our people that they didn't have time. And so we had to make sure that we gave people the time and space to do the program, but then also we wanted to make sure we were getting tangible results for the leadership. Continuous upskilling is key. You need to integrate this into your everyday work. If you just take a 3 or 4 day program and then you go back to your daily routine, it's not going to be successful. So spreading the training out and giving them in small doses so that they can incorporate what they're learning into their work seems to be having an impact. And then it's lasting transformation. It's that gradual shift in the work process. And then making sure, like I mentioned, that we're giving the people the time and space to learn the new tools and incorporate it into their work. And then I'll let you cover the last few, Christian, and close us out here today.
Yeah, thank you so much, John, for the insights. So what I really felt is that we are building that strong alumni network. So I remember meeting all the people in Aachen. That we are running track 3 now. We are expecting the track 3 participants in February in Aachen. And what basically everybody is saying is, well, we don't know each other before we run the training, but then when we go out again, it feels like, yeah, we have that network. We made friends, and that really helps us to get our job done in a better way. And the feedback we also got is that the hybrid approach is quite effective. Yes, so it's okay to be in your office or in the home office to listen to the lectures. At the same time, you need that physical interaction at least at some points during the training. And of course, I think we got lucky that we have that leadership backing, which is again important to make it running. Yeah, and then it's about sustainable momentum. So making sure that this is not a one-off activity, but that you really build that program and that you teach and educate people to get the transformation running. Yeah? So it's a great honor. It's a pleasure that we can run that with you, and yeah, we are looking for the next steps in that. All right. Yeah, I guess, John, that's it from our end. I mean, it's. For me, it's really always a great experience. Maybe you can share what is the feedback you get also from the senior leaders. So I guess you got a lot of exposure in your company as well, yeah, because there are so many involved making the program happening. So what do they tell you about that?
I think that the biggest takeaway for me from the senior leadership is we've spent a lot of time doing like online training, like telling people to take a LinkedIn learning course or something like that. And that's okay. I'm not against that. I think people need to do that kind of work. But I think the big message from leadership was they wanted to see this transformation in their people, but then also see the result of that work. And so that's now what we're seeing. We're like a year and a half, 2 years into this program, and it takes some time to get those results. And leadership had to have the patience to see some of these projects through. But now that we've seen some of these projects complete, we're now seeing that benefit, and leadership is really seeing, oh, now we're getting the benefit from this program. We're getting tangible results, which feeds into them being more willing to make the investment in their people.
And I think that is quite great feedback. I mean, in the end, it took us 2 years to get there, but then again, it's been only 2 years, yeah, I think, which is in the whole time horizon that you have for transformation is quite well.
Yeah, because as you can see, we're a Japanese company going to celebrate 100-year anniversary. We usually don't move very quickly, and so yeah, to get tangible results after a couple of years is a good thing.
John, thank you so much. I think that's a great closing statement. It was a great pleasure to have you here live on stage.